That says this video is private, but it's public. I don't get it. Oh well. I'm not going to go live on Facebook yet. Alright, so I can't really see. I got an excellent connection. Stream health is excellent. I don't know. I'm going to do a say anything out there. Anyone out there? Can you hear me? Alright, we're going to do that. We're going to wait for we're waiting for people to come in. So whoop, I got to change this too. So bear with me. Western section, scrolling news. I can get rid of that. And actually, I can change that bottom. So bear with me. Western section news. Add that. There we go. And it's not code panel. Questions. This is the R&R Ranch. Wish I knew why that was saying private. AI Western section seems to be live 17 seconds ago. Yep. Wish I knew why that was saying private. Alright, so we're good. I responded to myself, and there's no one out there, and that's a good thing. Okay, so welcome to the R&R Ranch. Oh, hey, Dawn. Thanks. Thanks. I can see you. Excellent. All right. For some reason, my feed says this is a private video, and I'm not sure why. It should be out there on the public. It says public, so I don't know why. So I'm going to change this to science and technology. Got the thumbnail. I've got public. I say save. I don't know. All right, Dawn, hang in there, buddy, because I am just cleaning up some stuff. Code panel. And Western section. Western section. Footer. News. Subject. I'm going to change the subject to welcome to the R&R Ranch. There we go. Welcome to the R&R Ranch. What more can we say about that? And I do have a Western section standby. We're going to make that into the R&R Ranch. Browse. Let's move this up. We're going to go uptown, East 29th Street. There we go. R&R Ranch starting soon. Alrighty, so we are looking good. We're waiting for Jeff Sargent and my other buddies to dial in. I am early. I opened up the R&R Ranch early because that is what Steve Froming does. And here he is. Steve is joining the show. So Steve,
hey, buddy.
Hey, I was just telling everybody online, I said I opened up the R&R Ranch early because that's what Steve does. Isn't that true, though, huh?
I try, but I got the ability. Somebody else has not got in there.
Yeah, so you're going to dial in twice, right? So you're going to have your computer's camera be the second person.
Yep.
Perfect.
Hang on, I got three mouses over here. I got to figure which mouse is the Mies.
Ah, okay.
All right, here we go.
I'm just glad I don't have to worry about. Oh, there it is. You know why? I had two instances of the live stream open, and I'll bet you I've got the same thing going on over here. I'm going to stop my Adobe Paint Shop. I don't need my PowerPoint open. Oh, I got this. All right, so Mr. Joe Hurdle is out there. And yes, Joe, I did. Oh, I know why that is that way. All right, so boy, I really got this all screwed up. I've got the I got the live stream. Let me see if I can see. Yeah, so there it is. Did I get my question? Yes, I did, Joe, and I read it. Yes, and we read it over the web. We read it to everybody over the web, but it seemed like a statement rather than a question. I don't know if I think that's the one you're talking about, but I'm not sure which email you sent it to. They're starting to file in. So I have two instances. What if I close this? And then I'm going to refresh this. Uh-oh. I hope I'm still alive. Let me switch account. Western section. Oh boy. This is getting complicated. There it is. Western section live. Let me go to that. I was starting to get nervous there, Steve. Awesome.
That happens.
Yeah, I know. I'm good though. Let's do this. I wonder if I could get a screen together where we've got you and me.
Okay, my second should be coming here in a minute.
All right. So everybody out there in the YouTube land, Steve and I are just trying to get some things set up. So we're working on it. So
Hello, this is Steve.
Hi, Mr. Fromian. This is Guadalupe calling back from Equitable Bank.
Oh, yeah.
Returning your phone call. Yes.
Yeah.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Hang on just a second if you could.
Oh.
Yep, I got you muted, Steve. All right. You just fine from Omaha. That's perfect. So I need to sign out, switch account. Live now. There we go. All right. Okay, so we're getting there. See that? This is technology working for us. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I'm not sure how many people. Well, we got 6 people so far. And Jeff Sargent hasn't dialed in yet, but Steve Froming is going to have some special stuff for us, as well as as will our buddy Mr. Jeff Sargent, and we're going to have some special guests. I will be posting that email address so I can take if you want to go live and you want to ask questions of Jeff Sargent or Steve Froming or anybody else. You just want to make a statement. You want to say, hey, you know what? I got issues with I don't know, section blah blah blah. We can handle that. And there is Steve Froming number 2. Awesome. Okay, so what Steve is doing is he's dialing in with 2 computers. On his second computer, he's going to use the camera, which would be typically his video, and he's going to put it on some photos for us and whatnot. So we're going to live some history of the western section. I have hit the like button. You are the man, Robert from Omaha. Is a 2x2 pad with rebar a concrete cased electrode? Oh, well, Joe, we are going to have our buddy Jeff Sargent, and I'm not even going to attempt that question because the man, the legend, is going to be dialing in. I got to make sure that I sent him the meeting invite. Now that would stink. All right. There's Joe Hurdle. Question for Jeff Sargent. All right, I just got it. All right, so what I'm going to do, Joe, is I'm going to forward this. And I'm going to forward this to tdimitrovich@gmail.com. And that way I'll have it, and I will get that to Mr. Sargenti. All right, let's make sure that I actually invited him. There he is. All right. I did invite him. Okay. Man. All right. So we got, so we're live. I haven't gone live on Facebook yet. We will, though. And we're going to be out there on 3 different platforms. I should have gone to a few more, but I figure 3 platforms is good enough.
Yeah, 3 is good enough.
Yeah, three's company, right? Isn't there a program like that?
There is something about that. Yeah.
Yeah. That was a good program. I like Three's Company. What was his name? He passed away from cancer. Can't remember the guy's name. Man, Three's Company. Okay, man, I'll tell you what. I got a microphone in front of me. I could cue up some tunes. I gotta play my... Here we go. How about some Led Zeppelin? I've been working on trying to come up with some intros, and look, wow, Steve, you're doing a good job. Just got to get it focused. But yeah, that's perfect. Perfect, Steve. John Ritter, that's who it was. John Ritter's Three's Company. Man, okay. House of the Holy. That's who it was. John Ritter. Man. Jeez. That was a good program. I watched that when I was a kid. I also watched Wile E. Coyote Super Genius. All right. Okay, so this is doing good. This is doing good. All right. It's only 5:39, but gotta get that Jeff in. So I'm going to just take a look at your screen there. It's a little blurry. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. Well, see, I don't have. I'm going to have Jeff. So I'll have 3 people. 3 people. I'm going to create a scene so all you guys and gals out there can see the scene as it's being created. I'm going to call this On the Fly. And here's how we make a screen for all of you out there in YouTube land. The first thing we do is we add a we'll do a window capture. No, we don't. No, we won't do a window capture. We're going to do a display capture. And display 1. So this is my display 1. And I'm going to just get in here on Mr. Froming and his second PC. I'll put that up there. And then I am going to add, we're going to do a video capture. Yep, Steve is showing us how he chugs at the R&R Ranch. All right.
I gotta get this one.
Oh, man. All right, so I'm going to put me down in the corner like, whenever you talk, I'll just, yeah. All right, and then there's a way for me to pop out the chat, pump up the chat. I'm going to tighten this up a little bit. And I can break the chat out, pop
Do you
out.
have a dump button that you can cut if something goes, because it's on the delay?
No.
Well, that's why they delay it, because you have a...
No, the delay, what I've learned is there is it's just like your stuff has to leave your computer, has to get up to the YouTube servers, and then they have to retransmit it. So that is that just takes time. That's all there is to it.
It's not that they're doing it on purpose.
No, that's right. So now I'm going to bring in a chat box.
Are these pictures focus okay?
Yeah, they're not bad. They're not bad.
Well, then it's hard for me to see what on the screen. So tell me when to stop.
I'll tell you when to stop. Keep going. Boy. Yeah, well, I don't know. It's hard, man. It's hard for me too. Oh, yeah.
And I can't take them out of the plastic because they're like laminated in there so that they don't get, they don't get damaged.
Right, right.
Oh, and I didn't send you that picture, did I?
No, you didn't.
Might be too late.
There we go. See, I got the chat box on the screen. For those who can't see the chat, I got you on the screen. You see what I mean? Jelly bean. We still don't have Jeff, but that's okay. What else?
Okay, I just sent you the picture.
Where'd you send it to?
Your Gmail.
Oh, perfect. Perfect.
Yeah, because you don't seem to get anything if I send it to your other mail.
Well, I do. It's just, well,
I know, you're busy.
yeah, no. In fact, I gotta look, and I know you. There it is. Today. There it is. Okay. So I'm going to put some of those down into.
All the light I could put on here, but I don't want it to glare. So now it's glaring with that. It's not. Where is that?
We got Vince Delacroce in the house. He joined in the R&R Ranch. That's what I'm saying. You never know who you're going to see at the R&R Ranch.
I don't know where that is coming from.
The glare? No, the one behind you. Isn't there a light to your back right?
I'm looking at the glare on my picture.
There it is. There, that's the light right there.
Yeah, but I don't know where this is coming from.
You've got
Where I'm looking, my hand is above the thing, and there's no lights around.
you've got angels.
This is from. No, it's not from there.
And this is like behind the scenes in the R&R Ranch. Usually, hey, Felix Sandoval, good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. Welcome to the R&R Ranch, where we're hanging out and having fun. Documents. IAEI 2020 Western Section. This is day 2 of the R&R, so I have your... Oh, you got a PowerPoint for us. That's good. Boom. Oh, wait. No. Oh, you just sent me the 2020. You don't have a PowerPoint for us. That was your answers to your questions, weren't they?
Talking to me?
Yeah. Yeah, you had sent me it said an R&R Ranch. Hey, Dean, Austin. And it said there was Steve Froming bio, and then it was the PowerPoint. I was thinking that was for tonight.
Oh, that's where you couldn't find the stuff I sent the other day?
Yeah.
Oh, you had it. You set it off to the side.
Yeah, I did. I was thinking that was for the R&R Ranch, so.
Did you get the picture I just sent you? A minute ago?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. I just copied.
Okay. I don't know where that. That is the weirdest thing, man. If you saw what I have here, what is making that light go on that picture from this spot? There is no light there. I mean, there's nothing above there.
So this phone number was for Ron who?
Janikowski.
Oh,
Big Ron.
Yeah.
Ron.
I know Ron.
Yeah.
Yep. Beautiful. All right. So we got Dean Austin in the house. We got Felix Sandoval. We got Vincent Daracroche. We've got is Steve live or is he Memorex? That's what Robert is asking.
I'm live at the moment. Here, I'm going to put this over here.
Oh, that's better. Mucho gusto. Mucho better. Very good, very good. All right. All right, so see if I have any okay, so for emails, if somebody wants to ask a question, I'm going to where's my chat?
Now my chat is behind me, though. Now I can't see the chat.
There it is. So to get into the queue, send your phone number to TSDNQUE. And you know what that stands for, Steve?
I do. It's the total
Technical
social
social
distancing network.
Yes, you are now part of the technical social distancing network.com. Yes, Jeff Grassi, the Wisconsin hospitality and the R&R food is and Joe Hurdle says he's going to have a Yingling. Prost, excellent.
I'll have to see how I find a picture of Joe Hurdle in here. Problem with
Okay.
these are upside down to me.
All right, so Robert, so we got a question for you. Do you know the difference between a gallon of milk and a 6-pack of beer?
Well, I do.
You do. All right, so he says he does. What is it? What's the difference? Help me. Well, I mean, I think I know what the difference is.
One is for babies and one is for whiners.
Oh. Which one's for babies?
No, unless you're from Wisconsin.
I love it. Okay, I gotta get my email up. From there it is. All right, so we are getting close to 6 o'clock. The doors opened early this time because, in true Steve Fromming fashion, I wanted to honor that and just get in there early. So I opened it live a while ago. If you do not know, I will not send you to the store for beer. That's what he said. There is something wrong with this crew today. I got my coffee with nothing in it but coffee. Yep, I can take these stickers off because we're done with the code panel. I hope everybody enjoyed the code panel today. I thought it was really good. You guys did a great job.
Here. There's Joe Hurdle.
Oh wait, hold on. Oh wait a second. Wait a second. I gotta get that. Let me bring that in. Hold on. I'm not showing it, so hold on. Let me get display capture 1 again, and then I will zoom in on that. Here's Joe. Oh, hopefully Joe Hurdle is still watching us. Whoa, where's it at? There it is. Hold on. Oh, I gotta get it bigger. This is like you're working. There's Joe Hurdle, huh?
Yeah.
Wait, that's in the orange jerky, and I bet I can tell who that is on the right. That's Chad Kennedy, isn't it? Is that Chad on the right? I don't know.
No, to his right, no.
To his left.
Jim Biesterveld. That's the guy from Wisconsin.
Oh, okay.
We're in Wausau now that I'm looking at Ed Lowry's on the far right, in the red jacket.
Excellent.
There's Joe Hurdle, and there's Ray Weber on the left.
Awesome. So Ray's in the white shirt or the
Yes.
red? Yeah. Okay.
I gotta find some Western section picture. Here's Western section.
Well, what you have to do is scan those in.
Yeah, that probably wouldn't be a bad idea. I know we scan a lot of documents, but I don't think we ever scan these photos.
All right, we got 14 people with us today.
Oh, there's where am I at here?
No, we can't see it.
Tim McClintock.
Oh, wow. What was he, like 12? Jeez. Well, Tim's always had hair, so I don't think he'll ever lose his hair.
Yeah. You got to wonder about that. Somebody that's always got hair, you got to wonder that.
Yeah, I hear you. Robert from Omaha. My name is Weber. Does Ray spell his name 1B or 2? I don't know.
1, I think.
I think it is. All right, so Dean Austin says, Code panel was cool, although I do wonder why they are requiring the emergency disconnect outside when most people will lock it in closed position or locked covered closed. So, Dean, the emergency disconnect that was part of NEC 2020 was meant for first responders, and that topic of locking it outside came up. And they said, in response to the locking, that if there is anything that a fireman or a first responder can get through, it is a lock. So they had no problem with anybody who, if they locked their that panel and whatnot. So that was sort of the discussion point on with regard to making that outside disconnect. So that's 6 of one, half dozen another. That's sort of where that lands. Now there's a lineup of some liquor, huh? Look at
There's
that.
the busman's.
That's the busman booth.
Side room.
Ah, yeah. We always do. The busman guys always did a sort of an R&R Ranch extension. Yeah, the code panel was really cool, and what we're going to end up doing is we will do that code panel. We'll finish out that code panel after we'll reschedule and get that done. Who's that?
Past president, Mr.
Oh,
Fahey.
yeah, that's Fahey. Yeah.
We got old Pat Clancy down here.
Wow. Yeah, Ernie Cohen says all it takes is a bolt cutter. That's exactly right, and most firemen have those on the truck. Yep. Yeah, the other thing with the fireman disconnect, there was when it failed the first time, because they tried that in the 2017 code cycle, and it failed. And the primary reason, a lot of people spoke about the outside, but really having your panel board outside is not of a concern for that reason. There's a lot of homes that have their panel boards on the outside. What the one issue that was very difficult to fight or argue against was that the original, hey, look at that, productivity through protection. The original public, the language that was passed in the 2017 code, when it hit the annual meeting floor, there were some nitmams associated with it. And the concern was there was a provision in the language that you can have, like, say, a mushroom button or something outside to remotely disconnect. And the problem with that was there was no requirements, or there were no requirements for positive indication that if you hit that button, it actually did anything. And the concern was, well, what if, if I have a fire inside the house and the fire takes out the wiring to that shunt trip on the main circuit breaker, then I'll hit that button all day long and it's not going to do anything. So that was the gotcha. That's what had me, because I was supporting that whole effort, and I thought it was a great effort. It failed at the annual meeting in the 17th cycle, and the argument on the floor, and it was very close, but the argument on the floor was around that button, and I think that's what got a lot of people taken care of. It's cocktail time at the pool. Every fire truck carries a bolt cutter and or grinder. That's right, Joe. Yep, Joe Hurdle had that's the way that cookie crumbles, doesn't it? So this isn't too bad. I should send a text to my buddy Jeff Sargent. I'm going to send him a little text box. Text Sargent. Jeff, you joining us? Oh, there he is. Speak of the devil.
Hey there, Thomas.
I just sent you a text. I was like, okay, what happened to my
Did
buddy?
you? There it is.
Yeah.
Joining us.
I love it. All right, so we got the.
You look like what's his name? The
Billy
guy.
Joel.
Well, no, that wasn't it.
What's his name? Ray Charles.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. Do you have a camera?
I do.
Oh, well, let's turn that puppy on, and I'm going to set you up as guest numero uno.
Can I share my screen?
We could try that. We could try that when it comes up. I won't have you on the screen, but we'll have your slides, unless you want to send me your slides.
Right. Oh yeah.
You want to
Here's
send?
all the.
You want to send them to me?
No, I'll. I've got them right here. Let's see. What did I want? If I do this. Let
I still don't have your camera. Would be great to see you. And my thoughts are, so we'll probably have Steve go a little bit in the beginning. He wants to talk a little bit
Yep.
about the history of the R&R, and then you will bring us home, and then probably at the end, I think Steve wants to go through some other things as well. So, but we'll see how. I think we'll probably have a good number of questions for you, and I'm going to make Steve.
Well, I would, of course, yield my time if need be. That's
Jeff Sargent.
although I don't have a bottle of wine to share with Jeff like I would with Mark, but next time.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So you are going to be guest number 2 there, Mr. Froming. And then guest number 3 is going to be your other computer. Because resistance is futile. And then guest number 3 is going to be... Yeah, Jeff, we had a good code panel today.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. It was, they had a good time. Had a lot of really good questions. Did you turn on your camera, Jeff, or no?
Now, good turn. I just want to see if you can see this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
So you can see that. So, okay.
Yep.
All right. That works. So I want to get out of
Now,
there.
and I'm looking at your master slide deck, your presenter view, not the
Okay.
other view. You want to stop sharing, or is that what you're trying to do?
Yeah.
Or?
Do you have to do that?
I don't think so, but I can take that off of you. I can
Share application. Okay.
I think I can take that off you. I'm going to share. There.
There we go.
Okay, so you should see.
Now I see you. I see Steve.
Yeah, yeah. So I just started sharing because when we go to you, I can. Oh, wait a second. This is supposed to be Steve's other computer. Because what happens is whenever you share, it blocks out all of my other
Right.
coordinated stuff. So but that's no big deal because when you're sharing, that's what we're focusing on. Because sharing is caring. And then you can turn on your camera, and before we share, we can do some introductions. Just in case people don't know you, which I'm sure a lot of people already do.
All right.
Beautiful. Okay, so let's see. Yep, guest 1. Oh, yeah, well, you are guest 2, and then guest 3, guest 1, I got to fix that. When you shared, it changed the order of everybody.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no big deal. I can fix this. It's nice when things are stable. And that would be Steve Froming. So Steve Froming is now guest number 1, but he's got your name, so he is going to be Jeff Sargent.
Okay.
All right.
Make a movie about that.
Here we go. Yeah, that would be a very scary movie, wouldn't it? All right, so there's guest 1. Jeff's still not sharing his camera. And there is guest 3. And look at that. We got Jeff Sargent right there in the front row. Woo! And is that Tom Lichtenstein to his left? Oh, it was clear. Now it's
Trying
blurry.
to focus here.
Yep. And Ray Weber, look at that. Wow. Tom Lichtenstein. He was a young man.
I'm assuming that Jeff is deep in thought and not napping.
I don't know. I think Jeff's done his share of napping, huh, Jeff? See, Jeff's getting his research out for the answer these questions. All right, so let me go to. I got guest 1. I got guest 2, which I'm still not seeing your camera, Jeff. Guest
Oh,
3.
it's turned off.
Yeah.
All right.
There we go. Guest 3, guest 2. That would be Jeff Sargent. Okay, so I got a JS for Jeff Sargent.
I was looking to change my background.
I
Can you change the background?
You're still not sharing your picture.
Oh,
I don't think you can on WebEx.
Yeah, I don't think you can change your background on WebEx.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, otherwise I would have changed mine into something.
Well, Tim McClintock says there's a lot of good questions from the audience coming.
all right.
So there he is. Woo, doggy. Jeff Sargent in the flesh. I believe you are guest 2. There you are. Let's do this. I'm going to just get you centered up a little bit better over here. You're letting your hair grow, huh?
You bet.
Awesome. See, I shaved all mine off.
No, I'm staying away from the barbers.
That's good. I am too. I bought a set of clippers.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. And you know what? You'd be surprised what clippers and YouTube will do. This is what it'll do.
Obviously, you haven't got it perfected yet.
Well, you know what? Wait a second. I did have it perfected. My problem is that the other day, a little bit ago, I decided to, a few weeks ago, I decided to just shave it all off. So I lathered it up and I just shaved it all off. All right.
Nice.
I clocked in early for the R&R Ranch. 1 triple margarita so far. Tracy Dolan. Man. Okay, look at that. He's got his fireball.
Have we started yet? Can I have this yet or what?
No, you're not allowed. You're not allowed because you're on the air, buddy. No drinking on the air.
But if I turn this way, you can't see.
Yeah. Awesome. So we're live. We've got about 25 people out there on. We've got about we are live. We got 25 people out on YouTube land. I don't know. I just turned on the Facebook land, and I've got the other YouTube channel going too. I'm not sure who's out there. So Jeff Sargent is down there. Jeff Sargent, and then we've got Mr. Froming over there. Yes, and so Steve, why don't you kick us off this evening?
Well, I'd like to welcome everybody here to the second annual R&R online Western Section hospitality meet and greet and educational system, which we have more education last night than we generally have all at one time in the hospitality room. But point is for everybody to come on down and call in if you got some kind of question. We can take call-ins, right? You said?
Yeah. So
or chat anyway. If nothing else, chat.
No, for the call in, if you want to go on live on air, just send an email, and I'm going to put it in there to tsdnque at gmail.com for call in. So send me an email to that with your phone number. And we will call you and get you on queue, and you can put Jeff Sargent and Steve Froming on the hot seat. Not me.
Well, if it gets too hot, my internet connection might go out, and then
Yeah.
That's a good thing about being remotely. I'm sorry, it's crackling on over here. So,
I hear you.
we just we're gonna try to get Ron Janikowski on the line.
Oh, you want to do it now?
Yeah, you want to
Yeah.
try to do that right now?
We can definitely do that. All right. So
And
let me.
we can talk about the hospitality room if we can get him. Uh, have my fancy camera here. Look at that. There's Ron. So you could put this picture up while he's talking, and then that way you could see. So we just got an album here of some of the things we have at our hospitality room in the past.
You have
And,
reached the voicemail box of 715.
There you go. I
all
got
right,
his
well,
voice.
try him back in a minute. I emailed him that we would be calling around 5 o'clock. So, but he did
Okay.
say he might be out. But the R&R hospitality room has been around for a few years to have camaraderie and discussion and keep a nice place where that's right. I got to remember where my camera is here. I got to look over here. Nice discussion area. You can talk about what you learned today or discuss things with code officials, code making panel members, people from NFPA, people from the field. We don't do that in our area. What do you do in yours? Or why don't you do this or that? You can get a lot of that stuff answered, right there because there's, the people are there.
Mm-hmm.
And so often you see somebody like, Mark Early or Jeff Sargent. I can't go talk to those guys. They're, you go up. They're nice guys. Just go up and talk to them. Don't interrupt them while they're eating your dinner. But all celebrities don't go up to while you're eating your dinner. Right, Jeff? You don't want people coming up asking you to sign their code book while you're out having a nice meal. Back in the time where you could have a nice meal being out.
Yeah. Jeez.
So it's just in general, a place to meet. We have food and entertainment of some kinds, and beverages and food. And it's if we can get Ron on here in a little while, he can explain more about it. If we can't, and he gave me a whole 3-page letter on how to explain everything. So we might just paraphrase some of that. But started with the Wisconsin chapter, and we get help and donations from other places like Eaton Busman's a good provider, and North Dakota, South Dakota, Michigan. A lot of places help us out with defray the costs, and it's just a place for everybody to come and enjoy themselves, and not have to go out or go somewhere. It's just always right there in the venue. Just come to relax. So we've got some photo albums, actual photographs, not electronic stuff, of some of the days gone by, and we thought maybe we'd just share some of this stuff and just keep it nice and light. And Jeff's got a nice item he wants to talk about, so we'll let him talk and see if we can get Ron back on. And we'll look around for some embarrassing pictures we might be able to find in these photo albums here.
There we go. Nice. Right. So Joe Bellantoni says hi, Jeff. So we got a lot. Mike Forrester on there. Tim McClintock's on there. Tracy Dolan. So now, Jeff, you can see the chat now, and I don't know. You're probably not.
Wait a minute.
At...
What's Mike Forrester trying to do here? He's trying to.
It's a good Western section meeting. Yeah, he's. That was right when the eyesight starts to go.
Hope he's not getting sick in that picture.
I know. Yep, we got some good memories from the Western section. Ron is the man. No, yeah, there we go. We got a Ron Janikowski is the man. Nobody fries cheese curds and trout like Ron does.
Oh, there's Ron.
Yep. Yeah.
It's Ray Weber and Ed Lowry and our man that brings all of our fresh fish, Dick Picorni, in the middle there. He gets fresh fish from Lake Michigan, has it smoked specifically for us, and then brings it to the hospitality room where Pam Thiesenhusen and Dale Bowie and Adam Pluer all are working real hard on that. But everybody gets a break this year, I guess, if you call it that.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we got David Williams out there too saying hey. So that's looking good. Looking good. So we got. Let me see how many people we've got on.
Boy, is this hard? Some of these things here, you look at some of these pictures and it's like, how many of these people are still around? There's two in that picture that aren't here anymore.
Yeah, we really can't see them.
Oh,
Yeah, it's really hard.
Pat Clancy. I'm in the picture. I'm still here.
Cool
Keep
beans.
talking.
All right. Well, you know what? So why don't we do this? I don't know, Jeff, if you want to. We've got a couple questions. David Engelhardt. I don't know if you want what you want to do, Jeff. Why don't you do an introduction of yourself, and then we can go to some slides of yours, I guess, and talk a little bit about what you want to talk about with regard to the future of the NEC and what NFPA's got going on.
Well, thank you, Tom and Steve. It's a pleasure to be at the R&R Ranch. The only way I was going to make it this year was probably going to be virtually anyway. So this has worked out quite well. And this is what our new world is, this virtual world, how we're getting together. But what I think it demonstrates is the resolve that everybody has to keep meetings like this going. And certainly I'll talk a little bit about the NEC meetings. But technology has provided us with this wonderful opportunity to take a bad situation and, you know, the old saying, if you get lemons, make lemonade. And that's what we've been doing. And Thomas, I appreciate your efforts in putting this together. And one thing that Steve said, you know, as you get older, sometimes things have a little different meaning. And the other day I was at a store and I was making my way up to the cash register and the attendant, and she said, "Are you ready to check out?" And I said, "Do I really look that old?"
I love
and then
it.
I realized what she was talking about. Anyway, I've got a couple things I want to share, and
All
do
right.
that.
Yep.
And let's see. First thing I want to share. Back. And are you seeing my screen, Thomas?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
I'm gonna go to participants, and I'm gonna see if I can make you the presenter. Change
Here we
role.
go.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, perfect. Okay, well, hold on. Let me. I'm gonna move this over to this screen over here, and I'm gonna close that, and then I'm going to do that so everybody can see it. All right, so there we go, Jeff. You are live, and everybody can see your desktop now.
All right. And so are you seeing 4 editions of the National Electrical Code?
Yes, we are.
Right. I've got to get.
Yep, I'm going to try to make you a little larger here, so we're going to see how granular this comes out or how good this comes out. One way or t'other, we're going to get people to see you and your PowerPoint or your screen. There we go.
All right. So many of you have heard about the new NFPA digital platform, NFPA Link. It's going to replace the current digital version of the National Electrical Code that's available at our website. And for those of you who have paid for the digital version, you will be upgraded to NFPA Link. Now, NFPA Link is a subscription service. The pricing is at the website. But I just wanted to show you a couple things. As an employee, I have that NFPA Link subscription. They only gave it to me for a year. Hopefully, they'll give it to me next year. But we'll go from there. And the first thing, right now, Link has just the 4 editions of the National Electrical Code, the 2020 through the 2011. You can work back and forth through the 4 editions, but Link is going to be adding other NFPA documents, and eventually all of the NFPA codes and standards will be within NFPA Link. We started with the National Electrical Code, and I haven't used this a lot. I just got my subscription and I haven't had a lot of time to use it, but if you open it up, it is arranged in a very familiar order by the code order, introduction, chapter 1, chapter 2. If we open up chapter 2 and expand it, we can go to Article 210. And there we have Article 210. And so this is going to be what the digital version of the National Electrical Code looks like. And there's all of Article 210 over in the left-hand side. So if we wanted to go to AFCI protection, we click there, and there's the 210.12. Now you can copy and paste small segments of the code. You can't, of course, take the whole code. And you can also bookmark sections. It's got a lot of features that our other digital versions have had. And it's also got, let's see, let me get back here. Yeah, I haven't added any bookmarks yet. And I can have a collection of bookmarks. I can create my own personal collection of bookmarks, whether it's in the 2020 code, the 2017. And those bookmarks can be carried forward as, you know, when you get a new edition of the code as part of your subscription. Some of the other features of Link, let me get over here. Where'd my cursor go? This is something we've been doing a lot of work on, and it's just starting to come together. But we are going to eventually, because all of the NFPA codes and standards are kind of a, you know, an integrated set. For instance, if you're doing fire pumps, well, we know the NEC covers fire pumps in Article 695, but there's also requirements in NFPA 20. And if you wanted to know when fire pumps are required, then NFPA 13. So we're going to look at code from a real world perspective, whether it's occupancy system, a certain type of space, or certain types of equipment. And what we've done is we've looked at a number of very common occupancies, whether it's assembly, high hazard. A lot of these are, you know, kind of life safety code or building code, NFPA 5000 terminology, mercantile, residential, single family. And what we have there, and again, it's we're still working on this, but let's go to residential or single family. And actually, we've got some pool equipment in there, but we've got 17 situations. It's taking a while for it to come up. But for instance, oh, there we go. We want to do a single family load calculation. Oh.
Tim McClintock noted that he's glad to see the links to the individual sections, that he said other digital versions only had article numbers.
Yeah, yeah. And again, we built this based on input from users of the code. So um, this doesn't have a calculator in it. That is something that is in the plan for this. But if we click there, gives us an example. We can read more about it. Note that in this part of link is where you get some commentary, similar to what we had in the handbook. There is not going to be a digital version of the handbook. The enhanced content that we got from previous editions of the National Electrical Code Handbook in a digital presentation is now going to be built into Link. And so we are constantly working on building this enhanced content. It's always wheels in motion on this, and we will be adding to this. That's the beauty of a subscription. It's, like a magazine, you're getting something new all the time. So I've got to give a lot of credit to Derek Vigstall and Corey Hannes, who have been working on the development of a lot of this content for Link. So I encourage you, there's a 14-day, let me go back here.
Oh, so you have a can they go in and try it out and kick the tires?
There, absolutely.
Awesome.
Let me show you, Thomas.
I can remember Derek talking about being able to go into the code if you're working on a residential dwelling unit to be able to see everything associated with that by filtering. Yeah. That's a great idea.
It's a scenario-based platform, those occupancies and equipment. And so what we've tried to do in building it is, okay, if you're doing a single family, if you're doing a swimming pool, let me go back real quick.
Does it just look at the NEC, or does it cross different NFPA documents?
It's going to. Once we start adding more documents, it
Awesome.
will provide you the cross references. For instance, on fire pumps, you'd get the references from 695, you'd get NFPA 20, you'd get anything else. So that's the beauty of this. We're going to take all of those close to 300 NFPA codes and standards, and it's going to be one big integrated platform.
Wow. Now, David Engelhardt asks, he says it seems like Link will replace NFCSS.
Eventually it will. NFCSS is still a product that we have available, but eventually Link becomes the way that we are going to share our content.
Wow. Awesome.
Yeah. I was going to, let's see. I know that we've got, for instance, if I go to the swimming pool. No, let's go down to the motor one. And again, I'm playing with this, or commercial kitchen. Let's go to commercial kitchen. And so these little numbers on the drawing are associated. They associate with, in this case, it's the hood. Okay, so we open that up and we find some NEC requirements about commercial cooking hoods. But note, we've also provided some guidance to NFPA 96. Now, once NFPA 96 is put into Link, we'll be able to look at the NFPA 96 requirements as well. And not every electrician has a copy of NFPA 96, but if they have Link, they're going to be able to look at NFPA 96.
Boy, you're going to make it too easy, Jeff.
Well, that's what we want to do. We want to save people time because time is money, and in using the codes and standards.
Very nice.
Anyway, let's go back. Here's the NFPA homepage. Can you see that, Thomas?
Oh, yes. Yep.
All right. So right there, sign up for your free trial.
Wait, where's that at?
I know. I just want to show them how to do it.
Sweet.
Click on that. We work our way down. Try Link today. Sign me up.
There it is.
Now, don't let me scare you. Here's, the prices aren't scary. But you say, well, where's the free trial? Hold on. Go all the way down to the bottom and see right there where my cursor is.
Try it for 14 days
14
free.
days free.
Nice.
And we don't even take any payment information from you.
Oh, wow. So you're not going to automatically bill me after 14 days?
No.
Wow. That's a
We'll
change.
just expire you.
That's beautiful, Jeff. I mean, I never sign up for stuff like this because you know what happens, especially like on TV. You go out to like YouTube TV or Apple TV and it says, try this for a month. And then when you forget about it, next thing you know, you got a $200 charge, you know, and well, you're now a member. So you don't do that. That's great.
Exactly. No, we're not going to do that to our stakeholders.
Nice. Wow.
All right.
So Greg Chantal says he's really enjoying Link, but he says, however, the advantage of NFCSS is that he can print large sections or full code, and Link only lets him print small sections.
Well, and that's intentional. You know, there is, if we allow you to print too much, we're going to have people abusing it. Unfortunately, we have to deal with that with intellectual property and digital platforms. And so, yeah, Greg, I'm sorry that Link doesn't give you as much, but you know, again, how much code do you really need to print at one time would be my question.
Yeah.
If you've got a section, generally, we're talking about a section. Now, can you copy and paste 2 or 3 sections? Like something from Article 210 and something from Article 250, something from Article 410? Sure you can.
Now, I see I wallpapered my office with the code, so I was printing in volumes.
Yeah, I hope you put the copyright insignia on it.
Ryan Jackson says he was playing with this yesterday. He said it's much better than the previous 2020 digital product, so he's loving it.
Good. Well, and we've had a team working on this for over a year,
Wow.
a year and a half. It's been the vision of Jim Pauley. When he came to NFPA, it's coming to fruition. And again, it's just going to get better from here. So thanks for the chance to talk about Link a little bit.
Yeah.
And I haven't had enough time to go in and play around with it, but I'm glad other people are taking advantage of that opportunity.
Yep. You know, Tim McClintock says that he's accessing NFPA Link and it renders very well on the mobile platform, such as his smartphone. So it's almost like an app.
One of the things we've done, and Tim may have discovered this because Tim's really good with that digital stuff. You can expand the tables. And so the tables, you can make them bigger so it displays better on an iPad or an iPhone or a Android or whatever.
Excellent.
Yeah. Yep.
And he says add to your home screen on your phone. So like a lot of those little apps that are really web-based, you can add those to the home screen on your phone.
Yeah.
And that's that, you know, like you said, he's really good at the technical side. You know, I'm good with this with a computer, but when it comes to the phone, man, woo, forget about it. Now I'm seeing a great.
I urge everyone to take advantage of that 14-day free trial. Kick the tires. Give us some feedback. We want to make this. We want to build it based on what we hear back from the users.
Excellent. I'm seeing a gray screen. Is that intentional or are you going to have something else up?
I'm going to put something else up in a
moment. Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Yep. Let me get back to sharing. And we'll go right there.
Well, you know, the code has a lot of gray areas. You're just showing them.
There you go. Oh, tentative interim amendments. Good.
So we're going to talk about this in a moment, but want to talk a little bit about the 2023 NEC and where we are right now. And actually, I do want to share me back out of that. And go here.
Felix said, "Good one, Steve." Yeah, when Jeff gets done too, we've got
Okay.
some good technical questions, so we can talk code after a while.
Oops, that's not what I wanted. Should have had all of these up.
That's
There
okay.
we go.
Yeah, Felix. Whenever we get those areas in the code where it says, where it's like left to interpretation, we love to call those gray areas. There seems to be more and more of those areas these days. I don't know.
Well, while Jeff is pulling that up, I'll just say that I did speak with, well, I texted with Ron Janikowski. He's up north in Wisconsin where the radio waves don't travel. So he heard it, but he can't go on. So we'll try. So he says hello.
Awesome.
All right. So do you see a schedule?
Yes, we do.
Perfect.
A schedule.
So last November at the NEC doc info page, we indicated that the 2023 NEC was open for public inputs. And September 10th, just passed 12 days ago, was the closing date for those public inputs. I'm happy to report that I believe we have set a record for the number of public inputs in a single NEC cycle.
Wow.
We had over 4,000 public inputs.
Woo.
There have been a number of task groups working. These were task groups that were either formed by the correlating committee or they were formed at the request of the Standards Council to address some issues that came up at the last annual meeting, some of the appeals. And reconditioned electrical equipment was one of the task groups that the Standards Council asked to be formed. We had a Standards Council task group on bimetallics, the copper clad aluminum issue that came up during the last cycle. And then there were other task groups working on some really great things. And Larry may have talked about some of this last night, but I'm really excited for this 2023 NEC. Dave Williams led the usability task group on a revamping of the NEC style manual. And that will be approved by the Standards Council at their December meeting this year. And of course, if we hadn't had the whole COVID thing, we would have been going into that at the NEC meetings in January with this brand new style manual. Well, we're still going to be going forward with the new style manual, but we're going to be starting the meetings a little earlier, and I'll talk about that in a moment. But one of the major changes that Dave's task group has done in the new style manual, all NEC definitions will be in Article 100. Point 2 sections will no longer exist. Now, the style manual, once it is approved by the Standards Council, it will be up and posted on the NEC site on the doc info page, just like the current style manual is there now. But yes, the task group felt it was time to move all of the definitions into Article 100 so they're all in one location. Um, there are certain usability features associated with the moving of the definitions. For instance, a lot of those definitions in Article 680, for instance, or 517 that are unique to just that article. Well, where the definitions are used in only one article, we will reference that parenthetically at the definition in Article 100. And that information on the use of Article 100 will be revamped so that it provides specific direction on what all the nomenclature that's included with those definitions is about. So I think it was a great effort. David did a wonderful job leading that task group, and also that task group he led on updating the NEC supplemental operating procedures, which are really supplemental operating procedures are specific amendments to the NEC project to the NFPA regulations governing the development of standards.
I will say, Jeff, that we're going to have David Williams on Thursday night, and he is going to walk us through some of those key changes in detail.
Oh, okay. Well,
So-
I don't want to steal too much of David's
No,
thunder.
no, you're okay, because this is a tickler, because Dave's going, like you said, he chaired it, so it's like what you're telling us, and then when he tells us, it's like hearing it straight from the horse's mouth, because he was basically heavily involved with it. So so that'll be that's good. This is a good advertisement.
Well, that's right. It's in the television radio industry, that's called a teaser.
That's right, a teaser. That's right. I created a bunch of teasers for the Western section.
Well, and believe me, the Western section can be proud of David. He did a fabulous job and just spent a lot of time, his own time, working on it and putting documents together and leading the meetings. So kudos to David Williams, and kudos to all of the volunteers who have been working so hard on all these task groups since last winter.
Yeah.
Couple of other things. So those over 4,000 public inputs come in. And because of the way that the Codes and Standards Development Platform works, they're not assigned to a specific code panel. So what my job was, after we closed the public input date on September 10th, I had to go through and sort. Of course, it comes in an Excel spreadsheet, and it does indicate the code section, so certainly you can associate those with a code panel. But then Larry Eyre, the chair of the correlating committee, and I had to take a look at some of the new definitions that were proposed, some of the new articles that were proposed, and assign those. There are also global public inputs. We received close to 50 global public inputs. Some of them applied to the entire document. They were like an editorial global public input. So those are going to be seen by all 18 code making panels. There are some global inputs that only impact maybe a half dozen or less code making panels. And again, those will be seen. Now, a nuance of the terror, the TERRA, that's our Codes and Standards Development Platform. A nuance is that a global input is one input, so it will be assigned to a code making panel. They're the ones who can act on it, but we will solicit either actions or comments from all of the other involved code making panels. And for those of you who are on code making panels, you've probably been through some of this before with the global public inputs, but that's how we will handle them from a process standpoint. So our schedule had to be amended. We were scheduled for January 11th through 23rd if we were doing in-person meetings. and I worked very hard, and I solicit a lot of input from my predecessor, Mark Early, who you all know, on scheduling the meeting and how he did it in the past. And of course, one of the challenges is trying to schedule it when you have a number of committee members who are on multiple NEC panels, so that you're not creating a conflict for those people. What is inherent in the DNA of all NEC committee members is their commitment. They don't want to miss a meeting. Even if they have an alternate, they want to be there. And so we try to create the schedule so that we don't have conflicts, so that the committee members can be at all the meetings. And I was really happy that with the in-person meeting schedule, I only had one out of close to 450 volunteers. I only had one conflict. Well, the good news is, with the virtual meetings and being spread out a little more, I ended up with a schedule that we don't have a single conflict that I know of right now. And so we're going to be starting with panel 8 and 18 the week of November 30th. And every panel is going to get a full 6 days, if necessary, to complete their work. And actually, the good news is that if a panel, for whatever reason, ran over, there's some time in the schedule where they could have another meeting. We're not a slave to hotel schedules and airplane tickets that, I have to leave. So, we could have done that in the past, but we always tried to get it done within the in-person meeting. With the virtual meeting, there is a little more flexibility. We tried to schedule this based on workloads from the past. Panels that historically had lighter workloads, we tried to front load them in the schedule, and the ones who historically have had the heavier workloads, we've put at the end of the schedule. As best we could, and trying to get this done without creating the conflicts. And also from a staffing standpoint, having the staff liaisons, the NFPA staff available over this 6-week period to handle these meetings. So the most meetings that would occur in any week would be that January 4 through 9, and we've got 4 panels meeting that
we got a question, Jeff, from who is that? Joe Bellantoni. He's got a good question, and I've had this myself many times already. Will the public be able to dial into the code panel meetings, since it's going to be virtual now?
Well, all NFPA meetings are open. And in the past, when they were in-person meetings, anybody could attend those meetings. These are not closed sessions. We will be doing the same thing with the virtual meetings. And actually, just today, at the doc info page, if you go to the next edition tab, the meeting notices for all 18 code making panels were published. They were put up on the site. And in the meeting notices, Joe, there is information to contact Sarah Caldwell, who is the I don't know what her project administrator, thank you, for the NEC project. And Sarah will put you on the contact list to be invited to that meeting. But you have to let Sarah know.
The other question that I just recently got, I was talking to an individual who wants to get involved with more awareness on the National Electrical Code, and now that we're starting this new season of changes, this individual's question was whether or not he can participate in some of the task group meetings, because, like Jeff, we're starting all the task group meetings for all of these. So he asked me, can we can he sit in those task groups? And I told him to contact, NFPA to say, Sarah and possibly you. So I don't know what the right answer to that is.
Yeah, task groups are not like code making panels. Task groups do not have to be members that are appointed by the Standards Council. They don't have to be committee members. So if we have somebody who is interested in participating on a particular task group with a particular panel, they should reach out to Sarah, who could put them in touch with the panel chair.
And what if they just wanted to listen in? Is that, I mean,
The task group meetings will be open. We will have the schedule like we did in the
okay,
for the 2020 code. The schedule will be up and people can listen in.
perfect. That answers that question. Thank you.
The NEC meetings are suggested meeting times that we want the panels to adhere to because we need to accommodate coast to coast. We don't want to make the West Coast people get up too early, and we don't want the East Coast people to have to stay up till all hours of the night. So we will be running starting at 10. We will be going to 1:30. These are Eastern Standard Times. We will break for an hour for lunch, and then we will resume from 2:30 to 6 each day.
Nice. Excellent. Do you want to?
So it is something, we've had some other virtual committee meetings, actually some fairly large virtual committee meetings with some of any other NFPA projects. NFPA 72 just finished their second draft meetings, and those were all done virtually. And NFPA 13, the sprinkler project, which again is another fairly large project, they did their second draft meetings as well. So yeah, we're learning, we're all on a learning curve, but the meetings have actually been very effective. They've been very well run by the chairs. I will say that guests are welcome to attend, but guests are generally not allowed to participate unless they have contacted the chair 7 days in advance of the meeting and requested time to speak. Perhaps they've submitted a public input, but this isn't a free-for-all where just because you're there virtually, you can chime in. No, that's not the way the meetings are run. We're running these meetings the same way we run the in-person meetings.
So does that mean the chat as well? I mean, there's a tendency for people to get into the chat boxes. So is that going to be something that's going to be policed?
It will, and again, we're discouraging people from using the chat. We're asking our committee members to again communicate through other channels other than the chat.
Cool. Sweet. We've got some people watching, some Code Panel members. We've got Greg Chantau, who was just newly appointed as alternate for Code Making Panel 1. We've got David Williams out there. Obviously, he's Core Lane Committee Code Making Panel 10. We got Borgie Noel at CMP 6. Joe Bellant. So we got Daryl Hill, too, Code Making Panel 11. So we got some Code Panel members out there watching and learning.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, and the reason this will succeed is because we do have such dedicated, hardworking committee members. They believe in the NEC, they believe in its purpose, and we'll overcome this. And my goal is, knock on wood, that we will be meeting in person for the second draft. And who can predict? I would have never thought last March, when the pandemic was first really starting to have an impact, that in January of 2021, we would still be dealing with it. But NFPA's paramount concern is the well-being of our committee members. Yes, the National Electrical Code is important. It's important for many reasons. But the most important thing is to make sure our committee members are safe and healthy, committee members as well as staff. And so when you look at it from that perspective, there really was only one choice, and that was to do the first draft meetings virtually.
So, for all of the committee members, are you going to get their home addresses to send cookies?
Virtual cookies. They will be in your inbox every day.
Oh, I see.
Now, look at it from this standpoint, Thomas. I think, they talk about the freshman 15.
Oh, yeah.
There's the first draft 20. Everybody puts on weight because they're going out to dinner every night. They're eating the cookies and all the other snacks that we provide. Look at this as an opportunity to lose 20.
You know what, Jeff? You are management material, buddy.
You bet. So anyway, that's where we are with the NEC schedule and how the first draft meeting will run. Everything else will look the same. There will be the first draft report. The public inputs should be up relatively soon. We're working internally to get the packages built for all the code making panels so the task groups can start working. I think the task group work, it's critical every cycle, but this cycle, the task group work is going to be really important as we get into those virtual meetings. And so we want to give these task groups as much time as possible to do their thing with the public inputs. Now, we are prioritizing based on the schedule. So panels 8 and 18 will start to see their things before some of the other panels, but they've got to get underway because they're going to be meeting at the end of November. So.
Excellent. So Tracy Dolan says he'd love to be on a code panel. He needs some input through the IAI would be great. So that's Tracy. That's the proper channels to get in with the IAI. Let them know, and I know they create that list and evaluate the people that want to participate. So show your interest, step up to the plate, and talk to those in your chapter. Let the right individuals know, and they'll filter that right on up. So that's a good thing. Al Teresi says, "Hey, Jeff." He's out there on
Hi,
Facebook.
Tracy. Good to hear from you. Thanks for joining us at the R&R Ranch tonight.
Absolutely. We're having a good old time. Now, one other question came in on a previous discussion. Ernie Cohn asks, he says he really enjoyed the PDF code book. Is it not going to be available for purchase anymore?
People, you like what you get accustomed to.
Yeah.
You get, it's like that old pair of shoes that you really should throw out. But you keep wearing them. I've got a pair of shoes on tonight that I use just to go around the house in, that when I go outside with them by mistake, my feet get wet. There's holes in the bottom of them. So we have to move on. PDF is a static platform. It's not dynamic. And I realize that that's what you were used to and that's what you like to use, but this is better. And so the answer is the NEC, the days of the NEC PDFs are over.
Excellent. Well, that's good feedback. Chris Jensen from CodeMaking Panel 5 is on. Ron B. from Code Panel 4. Thanks for joining us, gentlemen. Thank you. We got a good crew. We do have
a great crew. All right. So let's see. The next thing we wanted to talk about were tentative interim amendments.
Okay, so that's tentative. You know what? I have a tendency, unfortunately, to always call them technical interim amendments, but they're tentative because they're something that's put in place tentatively until really the code panel acts on it as a complete panel, right? Or something like that?
Well, until we act on it through the complete revision process.
Okay.
So we should Are you seeing my slide deck?
Yes, I am seeing a slide deck. Tentative interim
Ah, this
amendments.
is great. I'm getting used to this technology. And let's,
Now the trick is going to be if you put it in presentation mode, is it going to go to the right monitor?
oh, of course it is.
Okay, we're going to test you. We're going to see if we see presentation mode or if we see presentation.
Well, let's get.
David Williams says the IAEI code panel candidate pool application is available through the international office. The number of candidates is too low and we need qualified people. So there it is. Tracy, you got to get in with the IO and get that application filled out. I know David Williams will help you. He is a very helpful individual. I will help you, but I'm not that helpful when it comes to that form. I will just get you in contact with David Williams. Awesome, Felix. Yeah, we've got Felix Sandoval with us, Jeff, from Colombia. He's our
terrific.
furthest participant away. And a new IAEI member, I must say. See, I knew it. We got presentation mode. I was right,
How'd
Jeff.
it go?
So you
Are
got
we there?
yeah, but I'm seeing your presentation mode, not the presentation.
Oh,
So you got to go up to display settings, and I think you have to switch monitors because you're sharing the different monitor. Whatever. I think that'll do it.
did that do it?
Yes, it did. Perfecto.
All right, there we go. So let's talk about tentative interim amendments, how they impact the NEC use, and actually how they impact the end user. The TIAs, as we refer to them as, they are part of the code making process. It's a kind of and we have emergency nature that's part of this. But if, and there are a number of criteria, and I'll show you as we go through the program on what is considered to be emergency nature. But, as good a job as our panels do, sometimes there's something that comes up that is nobody anticipates. Once it gets out there and the code gets into use, we've got a problem here. And so it gives us a chance to fix the code for that particular cycle, typically, and then address it through the full revision process the next cycle. All right, is this going to, there we go. My slide isn't advancing. Why isn't that happening? There we go.
There you go.
That advanced, didn't it, Thomas?
Yes, it did. Yeah, we're good.
Okay, perfect. So what you're seeing on the screen here is from the front matter of the 2020 NEC. And it indicates this code was issued with tentative interim amendments that impacted provisions in 21052C2, 24067C, 24087C, 725-121C, and Annex D3. And for more information on TIAs, see the doc info page and Section 5 of the regulations. Section 5 of the NFPA regulations is where the TIAs are discussed. But the 2020 code, it was interesting. All of the content except these particular sections went through the full revision process. However, there were some things that came up after the closing date for public inputs, but needed to be addressed. So these TIAs were issued concurrently with the issuance of the 2020 NEC. So all of those sections that were impacted by those TIAs automatically became public inputs for the 2023 cycle. And so panel 2 and panel 10 and panel 3 and NXD, panel 2 again. They will all get public inputs based on these TIAs that were issued for the 2020 code. Now, we will continue to get TIAs that are being proposed that are coming subsequent to September 10th. Those TIAs can't become a public input. So we may have some TIAs that end up getting issued concurrently with the 2023 NEC, like we had for the 2020 NEC.
Wow.
So that's, the ability to submit a TIA does not stop on the public input closing date.
Right.
There is a methodology to process. Again, we process the TIA, we issue it on the 2020 code. Well, how does that become part of the 2023 code? Well, what we have urged people to do when we knew that their proposed TIA wouldn't be acted on until the December Standards Council meeting, we urged them to submit a public input as well.
Mm-hmm.
So not only were they submitting the TIA for action, but they also provided the panel an opportunity to work on it through the entire revision process.
I gotcha.
But there will be TIAs that come now that September 10th has come and gone. There'll be TIAs proposed. And so, as I say, we may have tentative interim amendments that are published like those 6 or 7 that we had for the 2020 NEC, that they come concurrently with the standard.
I do have a couple questions coming in, Jeff.
Sure.
Okay, so David Engelhardt, he actually put this out there a little bit ago, but he's thinking now maybe what his issue might be a possible TIA, which I think as we walk through, I'll give you his example, and then maybe you can help us understand. I don't know if you're going to cover that on the process to submit a TIA. But David says, why does it seem that there's no prohibition of feed-through service conductors in an enclosure that is not part of the service, referring to section 312.8A3? And he's saying, would that be an area that he put a TIA in to say, look, there should be a prohibition there?
Well, I certainly hope that David submitted a public input on that.
Yeah, that's a good question. Hopefully he
had,
did.
I don't want to get into the technical merits of this, but we've had from November last year to September 10th for all of those wonderful ideas that the users of the code have to submit those public inputs. So I certainly hope that David did submit a PI to express that concern and to change the code in Article 312.
So if he was saying, let's say that he was like, you know what, this he feels that this has a TIA. There's 2 criteria, right? There's one, you have to show that there's a safety concern, and the second, you have to show that there's a sense of urgency or something like that. I can't remember.
Well, that's right, and we will talk about the emergency nature.
That's
but yeah, this isn't something that, we should fix the code because it's a good idea. It has to be, there has to be an urgency to it. This isn't put in there as a way to change the code kind of on a whim. And not that David's concern is a whim, but is it a real emergency? And that's one of the fundamental concepts of how TIAs are evaluated. The committees are balloted not only on the technical piece and the correlation piece, but whether it does meet the criteria that are established in Section 5 that constitute emergency nature.
Okay, Jeff, we got one. I don't know if you know. Do you know Don Grenier?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, when the questions when I see questions come from David Englehart and guys like Don Grenier or Ryan Jackson or Jim Dollard, all these leaders in the industry,
You know
they're
they're
good
well
ones.
thought out.
Yep. So Don asked a good one. How do TIAs, tentative interim amendments, submitted for previous codes work? Like, for example, there was some that were submitted for the 2014 and the 2017 version of the National Electrical Code. So any thoughts on that?
Yeah. We did have a TIA just recently that was submitted on the 2020 and also on the 2014 and 2017. And of course, what people are looking at when they submit a TIA on multiple editions are, okay, you take a look at the adoption landscape around the country. We have 5 jurisdictions, major statewide jurisdictions, that are using the 2020 NEC. We have 30 some odd, and it's in that 30 range, that are on the 2017 NEC, and we have other jurisdictions on the 2014 NEC. So the submitter's intent here was, based on the adoption landscape, all 3 of these editions need to be amended. The Standards Council typically does not like to do that. And there has to be a compelling reason for the Standards Council to accept a TIA on previous editions and not just the current edition. In this case, the compelling argument on adoption and how it was impacting installations was made. And so it was, the TIA was put out there for the 14, 17, and the 20. Now, what that will do is it will change the language in the 14 code if it is successful. It will change the language in the 17, and it will change the language in the 2020 NEC. There have been public inputs submitted on that particular topic for the 2023 NEC. So we'll probably see something in the 2023 NEC because that TIA is not going to be completed. Mm-hmm. And if it is successful, it won't be completed until well after the submission deadline for public input. So yeah, it is unusual, Don. We typically don't do that. But in this case, the council was convinced that there was an emergency nature in all 3 because it dealt with a definition that existed in the 14, 17, and in the 20 code.
Now, Jeff, Tim McClintock pointed out a very important item, and it deals with the adoption of the National Electrical Code. And he says some states and local jurisdictions don't recognize those TIAs when they change the code. They recognize whatever it was that they adopted. And I know in some jurisdictions, they would have to probably initiate some legislature movement to say we're going to adopt that if they would.
Yeah, what we as the standards developer, and we would issue a TIA saying, yes, our standard needs to be fixed. Here's the process. It's met the, TIAs have to receive 75%, not 2/3, but 75, 3/4 concurrence on the part of the involved technical committees. So there's a little higher bar that's set for the TIAs. And so NFPA, just like when we issue the code, we're saying to the public, this is, with this particular TIA, this is now the minimum standard of care. Mm-hmm. Now, from an adoption standpoint, Tim is spot on. And because states and municipalities, counties, they have different processes by which they adopt the code. They're looking at it, okay, at this point in time, we looked at this edition of the code, it didn't have this TIA. We can't change what we have done through our administrative process just because the code has changed.
Mm-hmm.
However, at NFPA, we look at it, we are doing this, you decide how you want to handle it. But from a standards development standpoint, we're saying, as I mentioned, this is now the minimum level of care or minimum standard of care. You can do what you want with it. It's just like adoption when we see amendments. We put the code out there. We feel that it is the minimum. And when we see amendments that lower that, we don't like to see that. But the states and the adopting jurisdictions, they have a process. And, the process of adopting the code is another piece of how it becomes a reality.
Okay, so before I get
There's
to
only one state that I know of, and that was the opinion of the attorney in that particular state, the general counsel, and she said, we will accept anything that is issued by NFPA. That is generally not the case. There has to be a specific process within that jurisdiction to amend what they adopted.
So before I get into Ryan's question about the number of TIAs, since we're talking about this, which I think this question from David Williams is in your control, and I think you can speak to it both from a link perspective, your new process, and the existing. And I know you've helped me understand this in the past. That's why I want to relate. I think you're going to do a good job on this one. So when a TIA comes available, my book doesn't have that TIA, right?
Right.
And right now, at least not the 2020 code, but the 17 code, there's a PDF version that I downloaded, and even online there's a version. So David's saying with Link being real time, how will TIAs be addressed in Link? But I'll ask you too, even if I'm viewing it online, like in the 2020 code, and are TIAs integrated with whatever I'm seeing real time, or do I have to look somewhere else?
Couple of things. First off, the digital product that is currently available, Link, and the digital project and Link are updated. The code in those electronic platforms is a living document. And so if TIAs are issued after the publication of the first print edition, the digital products will reflect those changes. Now, I know that this question came up today at a meeting where Link was being discussed with a group of stakeholders, and the question came up, and they are looking at ways to annotate within Link to indicate a section has been issued, a TIA has been issued on a section. So that we'll see, that is something they are well aware of. They want to make it transparent for the users so they can see a section where a TIA has been issued. Now, the other good piece of this is that DocInfo, all of the issued TIAs are right there. So you can go. If you have a paper copy, first printing of the NEC, and a TIA was issued afterwards, you can go to the website and take a look at what TIAs have come out subsequent to that first printing.
Jeff?
Yes, Steve.
I'm going to interject there. Now, if you're signed up into the system as well, you get updates when things are changed.
That's a great point, Steve. And if you sign up for alerts, when those TIAs are issued, when they're out there for people to comment on, you'll be alerted. So you can, you can really stay in touch with us by receiving those alerts. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention, the free access version of the NEC is a static version.
Oh.
That is the first printing of the NEC. And so that free print or free viewing, free access is not updated.
Okay.
Yep.
That's good to know.
But the digital versions are.
Excellent. Excellent.
Okay.
So now let's do. I know you. Can you take one more from Ryan Jackson?
Why not?
All
it's
right.
good to hear from Utah.
So Ryan says, with the current number of TIAs, so apparently there's a few, will there be an emphasis on establishing future effective dates for bigger changes in the 2023 code?
No.
That was sweet and simple.
I think we're not going to change dates.
Yeah, I
No,
think I think he might be referencing, there might be, I think there's some TIAs around ground fault because there's some concerns about compatibility.
Sure.
So I think he's saying, will there be an emphasis? So I agree with you, Jeff. It's not something that you can tell a code panel you need to do something. It's whatever the code panel elects to do. And in some cases, we will put a later effective date for whatever reason. So it's really up to the code panel and public inputs.
Oh, I see what Ryan is saying.
Yeah.
That is a decision the code making panel has to make. It's not something that NFPA, that Standards Administration, is going to say, hey, you need to take a look at putting effective dates. No, that's not our role.
Yeah.
The code making panels have to do what they are charged with doing within the parameters of the process. And if they feel an effective date is something that is prudent, then they'll do it. And certainly there is precedent for setting effective dates, but if they think that what they're doing needs to be addressed immediately, they won't put an effective date on it. So that's where you have the opportunity, after you've seen the first draft report, provide a comment.
Perfect.
All right. So I think we probably killed this one already. What is a tentative interim amendment? Not a temporary interim amendment, not a technical interim amendment, a tentative. Well, tentative by definition, it's not certain or fixed, it's provisional. Interim, it only applies to the addition of that particular standard generally. Don's question was, well, you're going back to the 17 and 14. Generally, it's not the case, but in that particular circumstance, it was as I said, the council was convinced it was necessary. The language of the TIA doesn't automatically carry on into the next edition. It needs to be acted on by the technical committee. That's why all those TIAs that were issued prior to September 10th will be on the docket for each of the code making panels. And it does amend the text of the standard that was yielded through the regular revision process. So here's what the emergency nature benchmarks are. The standard contains an error or an omission that was overlooked during a regular revision process. And the new process, there are some errata that have been issued on the 2020 NEC, but there's also some TIAs that are correcting something that the code making panel had their fingerprints on because they voted on it. Now, some of the errata are just a clerical thing that we're fixing. But when a panel, in the old process where we had the proposals and comments, we didn't actually see the code language like we do in the new process. And when the committee voted, in the old process, they were voting on the that particular action and not necessarily the code language. Now, when public inputs in first revisions and second revisions are created, the code making panel is saying, this is the language that we're voting on. So they've got their fingerprints all over it, which is a better process. So if there was something that they voted on that needs to be fixed, a TIA is the only way we can correct it. So some TIAs are doing what we used to do with errata. The NFPA standard contains a conflict within another NFPA standard. Well, maybe something we did in the NEC process conflicts with, something in NFPA 1 or 101 or 20. We can't have conflicting requirements within the same family of codes and standards. So that is a emergency from a process standpoint. The proposed TIA intends to correct a previously unknown existing hazard. Okay, well, something comes up where it's a hazard. No one has submitted a public input on it, but the committee feels it's a real hazard and it is an emergency. So that's another reason. The proposed TIA intends to offer to the public a benefit that would lessen a recognized known hazard or ameliorate a continuing dangerous condition or situation. That's an emergency. If it's a public safety issue, it meets that benchmark of being emergency. And then the proposed TIA intends to accomplish a recognition of an advance in the art of safeguarding property or life where an alternative method is not in current use or is unavailable to the public. Okay. And then the proposed TIA intends to correct a circumstance in which the revised NFPA standard has resulted in an adverse impact on a product or method that was inadvertently overlooked in the total revision process or was without adequate technical justification for the action. So those are the 6 criteria by which emergency nature is judged. And the panel is asked, and the correlating committee is asked as to whether they feel emergency nature has been demonstrated. And if you're submitting a TIA, you want to make sure that you specifically address one or more of these points in your justification. How the TIA is processed. Regulations governing the development of NFPA, that's our Bible at NFPA. That is the way that the methodology that we use for the development of all of our standards. The regs, as we refer to them as. And if we look at section 5, it covers from soup to nuts everything you want to know about a TIA. Who can submit it? Anyone. Content of the proposed TIA. We have to have code language, suggested code language. Preliminary screening, which is done in the NEC process, myself and Don Michelle Bellis and Larry Eyre, chair of the correlating committee. Evaluation of the emergency nature. Publication or public comment. Technical and correlating committee actions. It goes out to ballot. And as I mentioned, it needs 3/4 and not 2/3. The Standards Council will take a look at the entire package. The balloting on the part of the technical committee, the balloting if there's a correlating committee involved. So those are all things that the council will take under consideration. Effective date, publication of the TIA, applicability, subsequent processing, as far as, what happens as we move down the road with it. And then 512 on exception. And I can't remember what that is. And I don't have the regs open, but we'll move to the next slide. Major steps, the submission, similar to a public input, there's a forum, evaluation by the Standards Council Secretary, again, with input from myself and the correlating committee chair. Preparation of the TIA, we make sure that it gets into suitable code language, that it meets the NEC style manual. Publication in NFPA News, also on the doc info page, so the public has an opportunity to comment. The public comment period, action by the CMP and the correlating committee. And then, as I mentioned, the Standards Council is ultimately the body that will issue the TIA based on, well, or decide not to issue the TIA based on the entire record. So we've got a number of TIAs, and this is a dated slide, but there are some TIAs out there. If you go to the doc info page under the current edition, where they're soliciting public comment. In fact, one of the TIAs, one on 210 210.8F, the expiration or the last day to public comment is tomorrow. And then there are several others that are up there looking for public comment. But you can see when you go to the TIA, you can view it, see what's being proposed, you get the rationale, and then there's an opportunity at the end of that form, at the end of that sheet, that you can submit your public comment. So what happens after the issuance? The council sets an effective date. The wording of the NEC changes. In the digital product, it is updated. So we now have new code language. But again, the code is a living document. It's just like with errata. Errata are automatically corrected within the digital platforms. And then, as we talked about a little earlier, that Tim had brought up, how it gets handled at the adoption level and the implementation level differs from jurisdiction to jurisdiction. I know that the Mass Electrical Code Committee, Mass Electrical Code Advisory Committee, they will have a meeting. They'll evaluate the TIA. They'll make a recommendation on whether to accept it or not to the Board of Fire Prevention Regulations. And then it's put out there for public comment, and they have a process by which TIAs are implemented. Other jurisdictions have processes. Some jurisdictions just say, no, it is what it is. So how a TIA impacts the end user depends on where the end user is. But from a standards perspective, it is the new tentative interim language within the standard. So how do you view the TIAs? Go to www.nfpa.org. As I mentioned, for the digital subscribers, it's updated at the effective date. The free access version does not get updated. Now, what we've done with the print editions, because the first printing is not the only printing, we will print a number of editions of the NEC. They will be updated. And I have been working with our production staff to better indicate that that is a subsequent printing and not the first printing. So that little row of numbers that you would see on the inside front cover, that is going to go away, and we will have better indication and better nomenclature on that inside front cover as to, and also in the front matter, we will update that in the subsequent print editions on what sections were impacted by TIAs in that particular printing of the NEC. Again, there's a doc info page. You can look at the TIAs that have been issued so far on the 2020 NEC. And notice, there were 7 that were issued in August. On August 6th, that was the same date that the council issued the 2020 NEC. And then we've had a few more subsequent to that. For instance, the one on Article 800 and that informational note and the informational note figure, that was a error that made it through the committee process that needed to be fixed. In the past, that probably would have been corrected with an errata, but because the committee had voted on the actual language that wasn't correct, we can't by errata undo what the committee has said. So the committee has a lot more say today in what ends up in the code than they might have in the past when we took all those actions and assembled it. Their fingerprints are all over it. Why are they important? Well, and here's the thing. If you have two people with print copies and one has a first edition and one has a second edition, they may be looking at the same section and it may say two different things. For instance, 55171F before a TIA was issued, and that's in the first printing. 55171F after the TIA, saying something completely different. So I'm showing the digital version. The digital version got updated, but those who had the print edition, you're seeing what was issued, what made it through the process that isn't impacted. So then it becomes, okay, who's right? Well, who's right is decided by how the jurisdiction treats the TIAs. What did they adopt? Now, some jurisdictions that are just getting around to starting their adoption process, we try to make them aware that there are TIAs, that the code that you're looking at today for adoption is different than what might be in that first printing. So that's part of what our regional staff does, is help educate the jurisdictions, again, that the code is dynamic. And depending on what point in time you're looking at it for adoption, well, if you went out and bought one the minute they were available, then you might have a different book than what the code says today.
Very interesting.
And for more information, the digital age is wonderful. We are able to provide so much information at the DocInfo page. Our process is transparent as it's always been through the years. It's even more transparent now because so many more people have access to it, and the ease of access through the digital platforms just makes it much more user-friendly. And, I think one of the reasons, probably in addition to COVID, that we had so many public inputs this cycle is because the digital age allows people to engage. It's much easier today to submit a public input than it was in the past when you had to write it out on a piece of paper, put it in an envelope, buy a stamp, lick the stamp, and put it in the mail. You don't have to do any of that today. So I think that's all of my slides. Yes, that's all of my slides, Thomas.
Awesome, Jeff.
Hey, Jeff.
Yes, Steve.
Just to remind you of the exception you were talking about, that just says when the Standards Council authorizes other procedures for proceeding under issuance.
Okay, thank you.
And while you were talking, I got my email from Sarah about all of our code panel stuff. It just came a few minutes ago. So.
Yeah,
Great.
and,
Sarah is, wow, we couldn't live without Sarah.
Yeah, so I clicked on the link. I just was doing that now. I clicked on the link for, it says to notify him, that you're going to be there, RSVP.
Yes.
So the RSVP says, I will attend. I will arrive on month, date, and year. I will be staying at And so I put one
Well,
for panel 2. I said I put 1/11/2021, and I said I will be staying at home. And then for other reason, a code making panel member, and I just said thanks, and I'm going to submit it. So I don't
well,
think.
Thomas,
Hmm.
you received a special version of that because we like to know where you are.
Ah, is that what it is? Okay, that's like the time when I opened up the handbook. The 2020 first edition handbook had the expansion of ASCI in there. Remember? And I think
Yes.
I was talking to you, and
Yep.
I showed you, and you said, "Oh, you have the Massachusetts version." Beautiful. It's beautiful. Awesome. Well, I think that was really that was a very good overview of the TIAs, the global inputs, and all that stuff, Jeff. I really appreciate all of that. I know everybody
one of
else.
the other things I wanted to mention,
Yep.
Tom, I don't know what you're seeing on the screen
Just a
right
gray
now.
box.
Okay. Let me get up there and share. And I think in order to, you have to, oh, there we go. Stop sharing.
Oh, there you go. Oh,
There we go.
okay. Now we got. Okay.
But one of the other things I wanted to mention, and it is covered in Section 6 of the regulations, from time to time, we'll get people who use our TQS platform, the Technical Question Service, whether they're members or AHJs, and they think what they're getting back from NFPA staff is a formal interpretation because it's coming in either an email. We used to write them all as letters, but all that is a staff opinion, and there is a disclaimer on that indicating that it is the personal opinion of the staff, not the opinion of the NFPA technical committees. There is a process by which formal interpretations are processed. Now, they're as rare as hen's teeth in the NEC process. There's not a lot of FIs that have been issued. But Section 6 of the regulations is where the process, and there is a process by which FIs are issued or they reviewed and put out to ballot to the technical committee and then perhaps issued. But it doesn't happen a lot in the NEC process.
So what do hen's teeth look like, Jeff?
What do hen's teeth? I don't know if I've ever seen a hen's tooth, so that's maybe why we have the expression.
There you go. That's a good one.
I've never been bitten by a hen, but I sure have been pecked by a rooster.
There you go. Oh man, that is good. That is really good.
He was one mean SOB.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I see we've got a picture up there. We've got who is that there? What photo? Steve?
Oh, that's a handsome Dan Neeser.
I was going to say Dan
I
Neeser.
thought that looked like Dan Neeser. And
Yeah.
is that from QPS?
Yeah, QPS. Yep.
Yeah, from California.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Can't think of his name
Oh,
offhand. He
yeah.
comes all the time, though.
Man. He had long hair too for a while there. I think he shaved.
Yeah, I'm trying
yeah.
to get my hair as long as his.
Yeah. Jeez. Yeah, so I'm just looking. I'm going to see if there's anybody who has any questions out in YouTube land or Facebook land. I see David doesn't like the fact that the free version of the code doesn't automatically get updated. Elbert from QPS.
Albert. Yeah, there you go.
Thank you, David.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes.
You know what's really awesome is when you go to, like I used to go to all of the Western sections. So that was the not Southwestern, Northwestern, Western, Southern, Eastern. I never got to Canada. And I tell you what, you would see Albert from QPS. You would see the same people over and over and over, and it was just like it's you go to those meetings for the people. That's for sure.
Well, the good thing is Albert would have been happy that we remembered QPS and
Yeah,
gave them a plug. That we didn't remember his name.
that's right. That's right. You gotta love it. Absolutely, you gotta love it. So, any good questions? Anybody want to dial in? Anybody want to phone a friend? Remember, if you want to get online, I'll call you. Just send your phone number.
How about if they know where this location in the picture is, you'll send them some auto fuses.
I'll send you a little control panel for fuses. What is that
Uh,
location?
Believe that's Arkansas. Is it not
that
Little Rock?
is. Yeah.
Or no, Fort Smith.
Fort Smith, is that the one right across from the airport, right?
I don't know. It's by the river.
Hey Tom, I'm a little concerned for your well-being because I don't see any PPE on, and I think you're within the arc flash boundary of the equipment behind you.
Okay,
Be energized.
here's the issue, Jeff. I'm in a residential dwelling unit, so 70E doesn't apply to me. I don't have to worry about it. Yeah, I see you got my guitar right there in there. I want to get that out of there. I don't want anybody looking at my Taylor guitar. But yeah, you're right. I come in. I told these guys since I've been doing these online things, I need a lot of horsepower. So I come in the house right behind me. I'm in my basement. So I come in the house at 138 kV from the utility from Duquesne Light. I step down to 4160. My computer is water cooled 4160. So
Nice.
yeah, so it's really nice, and then my router is 480 volts, and then my my light here, my little light is it's 120. So I step down to that.
Well, it is a dwelling unit after all.
After all, absolutely beautiful. All right, I don't know what Tim McClintock's note was. He says it's chicken. I don't know what that was. What's that?
Well, Tim is well known for his affinity for chicken, particularly as a meal.
That's right. He does not like chicken.
Oh no!
He likes
he's
it?
first in line when there's a banquet and there's chicken being served. Just ask him.
Just that. Okay. Now I know where you're coming from. Yes. Absolutely. Oh my! So we got. Let's see. I'm gonna see how many people we have watching us tonight. It's 7:47. That's an airplane. 27 out there on YouTube land. I've got a handful out on Facebook, and I lost my other YouTube channel.
So this is what the R&R looks like before. This is a before.
That's a
picture.
before pic, huh? Jeez, that's nice and clean. There. Look at that bar. The Wisconsin chapter. Awesome. Felix Sandoval says it's been a great session. He's, I'm glad, Felix, you were able to tune in with us. I'm not sure what time it is in Felix land. He's down in Columbia. I'm not sure of the time zones. Whoa, what's that? Is that what you haul to the western
Well,
section?
yeah. When I was pulling it, that's what we hauled all the stuff in. We had our own, 12-foot, 12-foot tandem axle trailer in order to fit everything in there.
Oh, I got a question for this. This one came. Joe Hurdle has a question. He says, "Did Jeff answer this electrode question?" Hold on, and I totally forgot about you, Joe. So hold on. Here we go. It was stated in the code questions earlier that a 2x2 concrete pad footing with greater than 20 foot of half-inch rebar would not constitute a concrete cased electrode. It was implied that you need 20 feet in a linear configuration in a
We
line
talked about, yes.
to meet this requirement. There is no language in 250.52 to support this. A plate electrode has to expose 2 square feet as an electrode, and this is a plate that is only 1 foot by 1 foot square. A 2 foot by 2 foot pad would have 4 square feet, 2 sides, 8 square foot, and I could place my rebar in 3 layers of roughly 7 feet in length, encased by 2 inches of concrete, 8 inches thick, and all tied together with the usual tie wire. Would this comply with the code requirement? What do you guys think? What do you think?
I would defer to any of our good Panel 5 members who are part of the conversation. As staff liaison for the NEC project, it's inappropriate for me to make comments on what
Well,
we have
that's
all
what the
these
R&R
subject
Ranch is
matter
all.
experts
That's
on.
what the R&R Ranch is all about, Jeff. It's inappropriate.
Yeah, this is the off the record time to talk.
Yeah, and you're being recorded.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Allegedly.
No, we must have some Panel 5 members in the audience.
All right. So, is there anybody out there in panel
Well,
5?
we did have a panel 5 member, but they answered it the way this person didn't like. That's why they're
okay.
asking.
Well, far be it from me to say something contrary to what our subject matter experts say.
So, does anybody else out there have a feeling about this predicament? About 2 foot by 2 foot concrete footing. So, Mr. Hurdle, it doesn't sound like anybody on this call, but I don't know if anybody out there has any opinions.
Yeah, I think that's kind of why I started to bring that up again to reiterate that, because I wanted to understand exactly what he was trying to say. That it sounded like he was saying because it was not linear, it was, in a grouping stacked on top of itself, that it wasn't in a long length of 20 feet. I guess that would have to be some more specific determination, maybe with a drawing where you can completely see. If you had 2 10-foot rebars laying next to each other, but one is above the other, does that now make it not linear? If you bent them into a square, are they now not linear? So I think that's the crux of the confusion.
Well, and I certainly, and I can take a look, but I certainly hope that if there's something within 250-52 where we could improve the language, that we had some public inputs that came in to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be very very nice to get that, to see if there's a public input in there. I'm going to try to.
See, you're pulling it up there, yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to get it in, but what I did was I made that view a lot smaller. So I'm going to move you guys and gals, or you guys, up there. What is that? What are you doing with that?
I was showing pictures of Peoria. So had we been to Peoria, because Sue and I were in the scouting area situation, that's you went to the Caterpillar place. You can sit in simulators they have for that. So that's a simulator for a track hole. So that's what you would see out of the screen of your track hole if you were at the Caterpillar Experience Center.
Well, that's pretty cool.
And they had stuff that you could sit in and things like that. So. We also stopped by the lock and dams, and you could pretend you were driving a towboat down the river and try to get your stuff under the bridge without hitting it.
Oh, geez. You don't want me driving a tugboat.
When we go on these code things, we spend so much time, working on code and diligently, discussing things. You have to relax a little bit on the way there and back, or in the evenings.
Yeah, I agree with you, and that's what's nice about the R&R Ranch is you get a chance to do that. Just take a break, enjoy a beverage, enjoy some free food, and like you say, you mentioned it earlier that there's no. It's not like you say you need to pay to be in the R&R Ranch. It's just a benefit of being at the Western Section meeting.
Hey Tom, can I share my screen?
Yeah, please. Do you need me
let's
to?
see. Right there.
Wait, hold on. It's not sharing. Oh, wait, there you go.
So, I believe concrete encased electrode is A3. Is that right, Steve?
I believe so. I don't have my book open.
Yeah.
Comment is open.
So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 public inputs.
Oh, man. Oh, wait a second. Is that the list? This
Bye
is
bye.
This is no, go to
Oh,
210.
no.
Oh man, Jeff.
You're gonna stay on after we cut the live feed, aren't you?
Oh man, Jeff. I was like, that was gold right
Yeah.
there.
A3.
A3.
Yeah. So we had a number of public inputs. Certainly, I would suggest to Joe that he follow what Panel 5 does on those public inputs, and maybe there's an opportunity during the comment period to submit a comment, and perhaps it would tie in with whatever they do on those public inputs, whether they resolve them, whether they create a first revision, but maybe he can do it and it wouldn't be considered new material because it's relevant to the public inputs that were submitted.
Yeah. Yep. And then I'm not Tom. Are you in St. Louis or Busman Lab? No, I'm not in St. Louis. Sounds compliant to me. So Ryan's comment was he thinks it sounds compliant. So if Ryan was the AHJ, he would say, "Go and sin no more." He would let him go. And Don Gannier says it meets the requirements set by the code language. So we've got some Joe Hurdle fans. We've got at least two in his court.
That's the beauty of this dialogue. You get wonderful minds weighing in on these really tough questions.
Boy, I've never been referred to as a wonderful mind before, Jeff.
Did you weigh in on it, Tom?
Make a movie about you.
Did you weigh in on it?
Oh, I was talking about Don and Ryan.
Oh, okay. I got you now. Jeez. And Tim McClintock says source grounding provides great background into the concrete encased electrode and history related thereto. Good place to start. So you're right, Tim. And that source grounding book, what I've learned, Jeff and Steve, is that books are published just like the code book. Every 3 years we come out with a new code book, right? I think there is a lot of value into keeping that historical perspective going of those references, because like even the source grounding book has changed over the years, but there's still great information from a historical perspective in the past. And the code book gives you a good perspective to help you understand, here's where we came from and here's how we got to where we're going. So source grounding book, there's a lot of good versions. You can buy those online and whatnot, and that's still being edited and updated. I think Keith Laughlin just updated it, if I'm not mistaken. Look at that. Who's the one-eyed captain there? I see Dan Neeser. Is that Borgie there? I'm not sure who that is on the bottom right.
Well, you got me all screwed up because you're not showing your screen to me, at least. I don't know what Jeff sees. It's all over the place. I see this and that, and then I have to look at the live feed, and then it's
all right,
delayed.
there you go.
I haven't had any idea what you were showing in that live the whole time.
There you go, brother. It's
yeah, okay.
shared.
Now I can see what you're seeing there.
Yeah, I was moving things around.
That was up in North Dakota.
Hey, North Dakota. Nice. Nothing wrong with North Dakota.
The good guys in North Dakota, but no North Dakota this year. That's always right around my birthday. It's always fun to be invited out there. But
so what about next year's section meeting? I believe it's going to be in Michigan, right? If I'm not mistaken, I think next year's Western section meeting is going to be in Michigan. I know Dawn Iverson was letting me know about coordinating that and all that good stuff, so they're probably going to get that notification out. And that's an empty banquet hall.
Well, okay, that's an after. That's a before.
Oh, wow.
So that's our we packed them in there.
See that? Look
No,
at the.
we didn't have to social distance back then.
No,
so.
you didn't. And you know what? Think about the chair that everybody is sitting in right now, as opposed to those steel chairs at that meeting. That's a big difference. That's a big
Oh,
difference.
This is that you pilot the barge.
Jeez, and we missed that. We definitely missed that. Tracy Dolan said it doesn't say linear but continuous. Does continuous and linear carry the same implication? Boy,
Yeah, I
tell you
kind
what,
of agree with that. I don't know that
yeah.
I'd say that, if you had a tide wire together, that's kind of why I brought that up. I don't want to disagree. Maybe I'm the one that's wrong, but in Wisconsin, that would be okay.
Yeah. Well, looks like Joe Hurdle has. That's a hurdle to get over, isn't it? I had to say it. Yeah, and David Engelhart said he's going to be at the he'll have to go to my home state of Michigan for an IAI meeting. That would be great to see him in at the Western Section meeting. Awesome. All right. Well, gentlemen, what else? I mean, it's 8:01. We've gone for 2 hours, and Larry Ayre said last night. He said he did not think we were going to fill 2 hours, and we did. We fixed and we finished right on time, and we got everything we needed to get across. And it worked out
Well,
great.
if this focuses here, that's the original R&R.
Oh, is that right?
There we go. Yeah. So there's Ron Palm. There's Ron Janikowski. Those are the two original R&Rs.
Awesome.
So I've got 3 full. Oh, I gotta look. Here's the screen. I'm not kidding. Full pages. These are full. Ron, I says, give me a short bio of the R&R.
Oh,
Gives me 3
my.
full pages.
I'm glad we didn't get him on the
I had a
phone.
yellow shirt on one day, and I went over here with Ray Weber. I mean, it's very detailed. I'm going to keep this for our Wisconsin chapter archives.
Well, you know what? We should post that up on the Western Section, or we can post it on this YouTube site.
We could. Oh, in honor of some people there, I got my custom-made Indian mask. Look at that. I had to show that. I just got that today. So we could go through some of the stuff here, but I don't know if we have time now that it's this late.
Yeah, you know what we can do too. We get done at 4:00 tomorrow, Steve. I could go right on. I have an IEEE presentation. I think it's at 7:00, so we can get back on the R&R Ranch for at least an hour and a half tomorrow.
What? I've got a class at 5:30 my time.
Call me sometime when you have no class.
Hey, well, some people say you have class.
That was a Rodney Dangerfield one. So
Yeah. No, that's no respect.
yeah, no respect.
Yeah, I started watching that Back to School movie with my son a couple of months ago, and he never saw that, and he doesn't understand the no respect, but he got it now.
Yeah. So Jeff,
and I'll tell you, you were asking the other day. I am now finally joined the Grandpa Club.
congratulations!
I'm an actual
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. So what do you think of your new role, Jeff?
Well, I think Mark must have known something about this pandemic.
Yes.
I've accused him of having some knowledge that something, earth shattering was going to happen. No, the best part about it is working with the volunteers.
Is that right?
It's a part that I've always enjoyed working at NFPA, is working with the committee members, because they are such a great group, such a knowledgeable group, such a dedicated group. And then all of those people in the IAEI circles that, that attend things like this on their own time, because they're interested. It's really an engaged group of people.
Yeah, yeah. We've got you think about it. We're on at what 8 after 8 o'clock at night. We've got 24 people out there. I've got a handful of people over here. We've got people on Facebook. So
Yeah, but there's guys like Forrester that are living in the past. It's only 6 o'clock over there.
oh, that's true. That's right. This is the western section. I'm living in Eastern Zone. Man.
So I keep asking you for those lottery numbers in the morning, and I haven't gotten them yet.
Well, I'll send them to you, buddy. You need to talk to somebody from California.
No, it's the other way around. Maybe England.
Maybe England. That's right. Yeah, you should be telling them. Well, beautiful. Gentlemen, this has been a great R&R Ranch. What's that food?
Now this is what it's time for now. There,
That's
get some.
right.
Everybody can have some dinner.
Man, 8 o'clock at night. I'm eating 8 o'clock at night. I'm eating after 8 o'clock at night. I'm going to gain all that weight I lost back. Jeez.
Yeah, if you wanna, we can. I can go through some more stuff Thursday quick before Dave
yeah.
Williams.
Yeah. David Williams is going to be on Thursday. So,
Thursday I'm free.
yep, Thursday we'll have David Williams on. Tomorrow night I can't, so there's no R&R Ranch tomorrow night. That's a free night for everybody.
I thought about doing an actual Zoom R&R tomorrow night, but I can't either tomorrow. I thought it might be nice to have an actual really Zoom meeting where all the people went in and we could try to see how many people we could cram on a Zoom screen.
Oh my gosh.
And
That would be insane.
we could, of course,
It's
you
like
could
Volkswagen.
mute them, but what, Jeff?
It's like the clowns in a Volkswagen.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. Absolutely. Oh man. All right, gentlemen. I think we did good tonight. We had a little fun. Thank you, Jeff. You're always a wealth of knowledge.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right.
And great to be with the Western section.
Excellent.
So
Sweet.
it's great to have you around,
Yeah.
no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I know, you're heavily working on the NEC 2023 and I can just see you there just typing away, getting all those spreadsheets going. And you know what? If you want, you can send me that spreadsheet. I'll review it for you.
Happy to do so.
And you could
3
send
years from now, Tom.
any of the rest of us vouchers for going out to Hilton Head when things get better. Get going.
Excellent. So all of you out there in YouTube land, you don't have to worry about the Mentimeter sign out because this was extracurricular. Felix, thank you. David Williams, Tim McClintock, Ernie Cohen, Tracy Dolan, Chris Jensen. I mean, we had some really big hitters out here. Daryl Hill, for goodness sake. I mean, we had a lot of really good people at the R&R Ranch tonight, and you're not going to want to miss Thursday nights with David Williams. He's going to go over the new style manual and talk about all of those great things in depth that Jeff was talking about earlier. That's all great information that we're going to use taken forward. So, and
Hey,
we'll
Tom,
leave.
is that a different link? for the meeting
Yeah.
Thursday?
So you know what I'll do, Jeff? I'll send you the links.
Please do.
Yep,
Yeah.
I'll do that. And what I would ask is you need to subscribe to the Western Section YouTube channel.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you do and you hit that bell, you get notified because our plan is we have now a platform. So our thoughts are we can get, the young people in our industry are watching YouTube, right? They're on social media and things of that nature. So, and what I love about YouTube is it's very educational and we can get a lot of information to a lot of people. So our thoughts process is we created a Western Section IAEI YouTube channel. We also have an Eastern Section IAI YouTube channel. We're taking the Eastern Section live. And I've got a West Virginia chapter. Donnie Cook has an Alabama Central Division chapter YouTube channel. So the thought process is once we have a few of these popping up, we're going to start creating and sharing more material. And I think that's going to help safety. I think it's going to help awareness, and it should get the communications going. And I think, in my opinion, membership in organizations like IAEI, NFPA, and even in my own my company, from a company's perspective, membership is going to take a different format. We've always said membership in an organization is filling a form out and saying, well, I'm a member and you get this card in the mail. I think the future is going to be membership and following things like the YouTube. And, you know, there are those YouTube channels that you've gone to. I know I've been there, and they have those for public display. And they'll say, if you want more, subscribe to my channel. And then they charge for that. And then they give much more in-depth other videos on either how-tos or technical knowledge. I think that membership in nonprofits like IAEI and other organizations are going to change in the future to these online type of membership deals. That's just my opinion. So take that for what it's worth. But engage, and I'll send you the links, Jeff. So anybody who has registered for the IAEI meetings, I send everybody a link, and I'll be, well, actually, every morning they'll automatically get it. I'll send another one out tonight just in case. So, you can join in and you can be on the chat. You can be in there, or if you want, we can phone you in and we can dial you up and say, Jeff Sargent says David Williams, he wants to add to that. So, and you can do it live. Sound cool?
He's the man.
He's the man. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So Keith Frederick, thank you. Ernie Cohen, thank you. All of you guys out there on YouTube land, we will see you in the morning at 10 o'clock Eastern time for, what's the first session? Transformers. And you know what we did, Jeff? We booked Joe Andre, West Coast, at 10 o'clock in the morning. And you know Joe, he's not a morning guy. So he's like, how the heck did you book me at 7 a.m. his time? That means he's got to get up, get dressed, probably put on whatever he's probably going to put his outfit on and get going. There it is. Basic Transformer Installation Requirements by Joe Andre.
Well, you know what I would say to Joe?
What's that?
Joe, sometimes I sleep in too.
There you go. There you go. I love it. All right. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks again.
All right.
And you
Thanks
too,
for having me. Bye now.
All right. Take care.
See you,
Good night.
Jeff.
We'll
Bye,
see you.
Steve.
See you, Jeff.
Awesome. Well, that was good. Thanks, guys. And I'm going to shut this feed down now that we've lost Jeff Sargent. We enjoyed and we had a lot of fun, didn't we, Steve?
Yes,
And
I think so.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think others thought so as well.
Absolutely. Yep. So Ernie Cohen said he had a good time, really enjoyed the online activity. So, boom, baby. Thank you.
Yeah, if you want, I can talk some more about this this letter thing in a little more in depth as a teaser opening on Thursday, and then I would let people know that tomorrow morning, even though the presentation starts at 9, they should really try to go on to see the behind the scenes. It starts at like 8:30, quarter to 9.
Absolutely. Yeah, I will
That's
be.
always, you might miss some discussion there if you don't have to wait exactly till 9 o'clock or the time. You understand when you know Tom that he starts things early.
Absolutely. It's like the R&R
He
Ranch.
wants it in line for the startup. Yeah.
That's right. Perfection.
Because he's got his box like this.
That stream deck.
Because he had to get one because I got one, but you know how to use yours a lot better than I do. Mine is still in the midst of being set up.
Look at all those buttons, and they're all
Yeah.
programmed. They're all programmed, buddy.
I don't have mine on because I'm not doing anything with it today. But yeah, I have some of my buttons work like we were talking the other day. But I appreciate your help.
Not a problem. All right. Thank you, and take care, everybody. So, Steve, always a pleasure, buddy.
Now we can have these.
Amen. Salute.
All right.
All right. Take care, Steve.
See you tomorrow.
We'll see you tomorrow. Take care, everybody out there. See you tomorrow morning.